Welcome to week 6 of this belly dancing intermediates course with me, Lindsay Marie Silver, here at Little Egypt Studio in Scotland. In this session, I'm going to take you a little bit deeper down into the real raw aspect of femininity, the real roots of the belly dance art form. And from there, we can tune in and tap in even more to your truth, so that you're a dancer with soul, not just a dancer who replicates. We're going to tune in to what it is that essentially that makes you, you. And from that place, explore the framework of this choreography and allow you to expand within it. We're also going to cover aspects of costuming within the piece and how it can be utilized in collaboration with other dancers around the world, connecting online, perhaps say for World Bellydance Day. I'll share with you at the end of the session just exactly how you can get involved in that. It's going to be spectacular. Yay! Coming into center, coming into alignment. Sliding hips. Let's slide the rib cage. I'm going to go into some nice camels now. Hit, 1, 2, hit, 1, 2, hit. Wow, slide. Oh, that looks absolutely stunning. All the ladies joining me here live. That is absolutely gorgeous. Let's work with that figure of 8 through the hips. You can raise your hands. Keep the hips in neutral. Camel. This time, figure of 8 is horizontal. Let's travel with that. Smooth. Shoulders. Back to vertical 8. Let's breathe life into those fingers. Down to hips. Woohoo! Wow, that was absolutely gorgeous. Let's pick up the pace. Here we go. Drop flick. Step back. Whee! live. We have Paulette, the birthday girl. Let's shimmy and shake to celebrate. Here we go. Woo! Happy birthday, Paulette. Choo-choo. Lift and drop. You remember we did that way back? Lift. Drop. Lift. Drop. Lift. Drop. Wow. Wow, that was absolutely gorgeous. Amazing. Happy birthday, Paulette. We are going to dive in now with that piece that we'd enjoyed so much. Yearning. Help yourself to some hydration if you would like some. Was it just me, or was that warm-up like really intense there? Did you feel that working every single muscle in your body? I certainly felt that. Here we go. So within the piece, so if you remember last time, oh, let me pause. Last time, we'd really broken down the music rather than just dancing on top of the music. When you get to know it a bit better, you become the music. Your body becomes an instrument, just like all the others within the music. And it helps your understanding of where you're at in that moment, but it also helps you predict what's coming up next. And so we really broke that down, and we looked deeper into the feminine and the masculine aspects of the music, and the times where there's overlap and there's both. And actually, when you look at everything in life, everything in nature, and even when you look at modern languages, English not so much, but if you look at French, for example, and actually French and Arabic, there are many parts of the world where those are the two main spoken languages, and they coexist quite happily. There's the masculine and the feminine aspect of the languages. There's the masculine and feminine aspect of everything in nature. Polarity is what we're talking about. And so really now tuning in even deeper into what is your own story. What are the polarities that exist within your own self? Are there any things that are at odds? What are you really yearning for in your life? These are pretty big questions, I guess, for a regular belly dance class. But then this isn't a regular belly dance class, is it? It's not a regular belly dance piece. This is something so much deeper. It's the roots of the art form. It's where it all began, sacred femininity, essentially. And so we're going to go even deeper into that now. And there's an aspect of that that I can't teach. There's an aspect of that, of it just unfolding within you. Kind of like meditation or guided relaxation, where I can take you sort of roughly to that place, and then the magic just happens within. So I'll ask you just to tune in now to your breath and that sacred life force energy down in your hips. You could place your hand on your hips and your hand on your heart. And with your breath, really allowing the breath to expand the belly and the rib cage. And just take a moment to notice. Take a moment to get really honest with yourself as you ask yourself, how am I? How are you? How are you really? And all of the lightness and all of the darkness that perhaps that stirs, there is absolutely more than enough space within what we're co-creating here to explore that and release that and express that. So as you take a deep breath in, suspend the breath, and wherever you find yourself to be at ease. As you breathe out, breathing out into deep inner knowing, connecting in with your third eye energy, your creativity, your intuition, connecting into source, the energy from which we all came, connecting into your stories, the stories of your mother, your grandmother, her grandmother, her grandmother's grandmother. Back to a time when women and children congregated in caves and in the forests. As you breathe, breathing deeply in the knowledge that their stories are what led us to here. Their stories are you. And they are me. They are each of us connected. And as you continue to breathe, connected to root source, let's dance. Coming into center. You're going to tuck your hip. Right side drop lift. Tilt. Left side drop lift. Taka, rib cage. Right side, tuck. Left side, shimmy. Saidi. Other side, step back. So you might choose to improvise this section. Other side, feel it beginning to build as the masculine grows stronger. Other side, crescendo, it's big. vertical figure of eight is so slow and smooth. And the head comes round on this crescent down to the ground and up and out to the side. It comes down, chin comes down, it comes out. And feel the music beginning to build again. And here comes inside-y. Or you might be choosing to dance this with the veil. Things happening. Yes. And coming into that finale and the shoulder roll as we gently begin to exit stage. And the gaze is not so low, but it's ever so slightly lowered. And you're going to continue to come all the way up. Wow. Wow. Stunning. Absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous. I mean, that is the real essence of belly dance, isn't it? Strong femininity, soft as well. There's raw femininity, the real raw side of what it is to be a woman is all in there. It's all in there. So within our Patreon group, there is the opportunity to perform this piece with us live as a group, as a troupe piece for World Bellydance Day, which is happening on the second Saturday in May. If you'd like the details of that, you can head over to patreon.com/Little Egypt Studio, and I'll be delighted to create a public post there for you where you can see the details of how you'll be able to get involved in that. The money is going to some incredible good causes, special baby care units here in Scotland, and our good friend Isla is organising that. It's an event that's been running for how many? I think it's about 15 plus years. It's probably our biggest hafla in Scotland. We're going to be dancing that piece live, and the reason that I tell you about that is not only so that you can get involved if you would like to, but also just to illustrate how this piece can be utilized as a wider vehicle, as a sisterhood around the world. And so you can dance it as a solo, and it works incredibly well. It's very, very effective, and you'll have so many comments of people who just really want to know what the piece is all about, and is their interpretation your interpretation? It's almost like a book that way. It's like a good book. But then it also works incredibly well as a group piece because we all have our unique stories to tell, and they all infuse and inform one another just as we would have done in the village setting. And so we're going to be utilizing a veil. We're going to be dancing with a veil, but we're only going to have one of us dancing with a veil at any one time. So whilst the majority of us will be holding that frame of choreography, whether it be the side-y, so we're going to dance the side-y section, and then we're going to, of course, move into the feminine aspect with that really slow, smooth figure of eight. But one of us, during the time, will be dancing a segment as a solo, if you like, with the veil. And this open for your own creativity. It's an improvisational aspect of the dance that's free to grow and expand as you do, or shrink down if that's what you need. So we're literally going to be working just to figure out certain time frames of who would like to dance which section. And then it literally will be over to the dancer to create what she wants in that moment, or what he wants indeed. And with that, we are going to be virtually passing the veil. So, for example, I might begin with the veil, and actually, I would have, if I'm beginning the piece, I'll start like this, and doom, doom, and this section, and then as it comes into the first side, I'll dance with the veil, and then when it's round about, roughly my turn to pass on, and none of this has to be an exact, oh, you have to pass it at this moment. It's a free-flowing, it's what feels right in the moment, and whenever you're past the veil virtually or in real life, you roll with it. Of course, assuming that everybody has agreed in advance that they would like to have it passed to them. So then, dancing with the veil, and then what will happen is the dancer will come up towards the screen and they will pass the veil like this. So they'll literally pass the veil to you like this. And then what they'll do is they'll just drop it down by the side. So pass it to here and just literally release it down by the camera. And from there, the next dancer will be ready with their veil, which I might suggest you could be wearing. And when it's your turn to come up to receive the veil, you will take it off. Alternatively, you might have it at the side of your camera. If this is happening online rather than in person, you have the veil at the side of you. And then, oh, thank you. And then you begin to dance with it. So that can be absolutely up to you to decide. Of course, if you're dancing in person, you only need one veil. But if you're dancing virtually together, isn't it amazing that we can do these things now? Wow. So we're beginning to get quite creative with that. If it turns out that for your piece it makes sense to be wearing the veil, a gorgeous way for this piece in particular would be a very simple, bring the veil round behind you, gather up some of the excess length, and tuck it in at one side. Make sure that you've tucked it enough so it will stay when you're doing other things, but that you've not tucked it so much that it creates a fuss and is very obvious to your audience and distracts them when you take it out. So you've got it in here, and then you maybe have the veil passed to you, and then you go into doom, tack, doom, doom, tack, and then use the next couple of bars to adjust where you want the veil to be. So that's one way of doing it, probably the most effective for this piece. Now, some of you had asked, well, what is the vision for costuming within this piece? And as I was writing this choreography and just listening to this music, actually what I'm wearing is what came to mind. A nice full feminine skirt, or you could wear pantaloons or something like that, but something that feels quite abundant and luxurious, quite feminine, but perhaps in strong colors. Or since this piece, it speaks to us at our core, it speaks to us down deep within, it felt right to work with colors such as the red wine of the female cycle, of so much of femininity is all wrapped up in our blood, isn't it? And so I thought bringing that raw aspect really empowers the piece. You feel the strength, don't you? So as a color palette suggested, of course, you could dance this with a turquoise blue if you want, if that's what it brings up for you. But as I envisage it, it feels for me like an earthy color palette. So we're talking about deep reds, maybe even browns, purples. Black feels a little bit draining for it, but it does have an authority. So yeah, but definitely feeling full flowing is probably where we're at. And the thing with working with a color palette is it brings a sense of togetherness. You know, often within a troupe setting, you can go for all identical matching outfits, but then everybody's body is different and it doesn't necessarily suit everybody. So actually working with a color palette that is agreed and very much organic but together. It has a sense of we're part of the same tribe. We are part of this wild woman sisterhood that we're creating. So I want to just briefly open this up to our live class right now, just bearing in mind that your voice will be heard. But if you have any questions that you'd like to ask me right now in this moment, and we can also stay on afterwards and have a little bit of a chat. But if there's anything that you want to just ask in this moment, I'd be delighted to answer that.
Could we go over the beginning?
Yes, of course. Of course we can go over the beginning. Yes, let's do that. Let's give that a little run through. We'll do it with the music. Here we go. 1 second, just find the track. So, in the beginning, is all about strength and power. And what we said a way back a few sessions ago was that if any of these movements don't feel right for you, you know, if you feel like, oh, that's going to hurt my back or whatever it might be, then change it out for something else. So rather than a tuck of the hips, you could use a hit or a shoulder hit. So we're here and we came in and you hear the music starting to it begins to almost like quicken a little bit, and then we're here and it comes into like this stillness, and then we've got raise of the head. So you bring the conversation from an internal dialogue to, I'm going to share with you now where I'm at. So we're here, doom. Then you've got doom, which is like a tuck of the hip, doom, like that. Next thing you've got is on your right side, a drop lift. Doom, tack, yes. And then we've got a tilt of the hip, tilt. And then you've got doom, tack on the other side, drop lift. On the left, drop lift. Yep, then you've got taka, which comes right up here. So there's a little bit of a pause, and then it goes taka. And that bit's faster. So you got the drop lift, so you do drop lift, and then you got taka. And then from the taka, you've barely got time to think about it, but you go taka, and you're straight into the right hip goes drop lift, drop lift. Yes, well done. And it carries on from there. So the simplest way to remember it is, as you work through that sequence, as long as you get the head and the first tuck, and know that you're going to the right first of all, you can't go too wrong, because what you're doing the rest of the time is alternating that. So if you tucked, the next time that you come to move your hip in one of those planes, it's going to be the reverse. So it's going to be a tilt. If you just dropped on the right side and lifted on the right side, drop lift, it's going to be on the left the next side, the next time. And then when you come to the end of that sequence, there's another pause, and you're literally just going to shimmy. And then from here, you're straight into Saidi. Now the transition from there is literally you're going to step back on one foot, and you're ready on your right hip. Hopefully that helps with the breakdown. Now let's add in the music. Here we go. So just the beginning. So as soon as you hear it, we're going to come in, and it's so slow. Tune into your breath here. Slow it right down. Remember we said it's not always what a dancer does on stage. Sometimes it's what you don't do. So listen to the music. Get ready, and... Oh, I actually did it wrong. I was thinking about my hip. It's your head. Now it's your hip. And then we got the right side drop lift. Tilt. Left side. Taka. Right side. Yes. Tilt. Tuck. Left side. Shimmy. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. So you really feel that, just like, When I danced this piece collectively a couple of years ago, I actually felt like, it wasn't anger, but I felt like there was this sort of releasing of like, yeah, I'm not going to be holding myself back in life anymore. And that was so powerful for me. It was like, yes, yes, I'm doing this now and it's for me, you know? Wow, wow. Was that good to go over that a little bit more there, Annie? Did that help?
Yes, it did. Thank you very much.
Oh, awesome. Yay. Anybody else? Did you have anything else you wanted just to, before we...
Just about costuming,
Yes.
Lindsay, I wondered what you were saying about colour palette and us all being part of the same tribe,
Sure.
but yet also fuller, longer skirts. So if I, would you say it was more important to have the colour and not the style the same, or to have matching style? I think you've already answered that. Because, for example, I've got a deep red, shorter outfit that I could wear that would be matching with the colour palette. But I also have a longer, fuller, flowing skirt, which is much more blue, which is the...
Fabulous question, Roz. Absolutely fabulous question. And I'm going to say go with the colour palette. Because anything other than that is literally just you sharing who you are. You know, if it's a different style, it's just a different representation of who you are.
Great.
You get me?
Thank you. That's what I thought you would say. I just wanted to double check. Thank you.
Yeah. I would go with that. I think that will work beautifully. Because it doesn't feel at odds with any... It's collectively we're holding space for each other, isn't it? And so the color, staying with the color, it adds. It adds. I'm going into some sort of crazy... Yes. It really adds something. So, and it's just literally then an illustration of your personality. So I would say go with the color. Fabulous question, Rose. Thank you so much. One last one, maybe, if anybody has.
I've got a purpley satin long skirt. I think we used it in the Shakira, but I'd have to check. I don't know.
Sure.
It's too loose or what, but... And then the bra thing, I've got a red bra, which I can maybe decorate, but, or else, you could otherwise order, if you could recommend online any.
Yes, absolutely. There'll be somewhere online and there'll be something to fit all different price brackets as well, all different budgets. But your idea of covering something and customizing it, and you can customize things and they don't have to be a permanent change up. Literally, you know, if it works for in that piece, that's all you need. As long as it's not going to fall apart in the moment, then that's all you need. So, one second. Yeah, it sounds like definitely that's going to work. And the purple that you mentioned, it's not a million miles away from red or deep wine colors. So I think that would work really well. And the other thing as well is people who live nearby each other, there's often times we have, us dancers, we have, us women, we have a wardrobe that can accommodate giving a loan of something to somebody else. So it might be that we're able to source within our circles. So yeah, I'm sure that will be absolutely beautiful, and we'll find, and we can get super creative with it as well. The other thing is that you can find in lots of kind of haberdashery stores, and there's lots of places online now, and even eBay is wonderful as a resource for costuming. So you can take something and turn it into something else very cost effectively, and it look quite spectacular. Thank you so much for your question, Paulette, and a super happy birthday. Let's finish up our session with some shimmies and some relaxation. I'm just going to pop you all on mute, and you've got the chat box there if anybody would like to carry on that fabulous discussion. Okay, wow. Here we go. So I'm really liking this one right now, so let's go with this. Here we go. Woo! Whee! Wow. Yes. Wow. Thank you so much for joining me. Wow. Let's bring our hands up towards the sky. We're going to just gently pivot out of our hips. You can bend through your knees if you'd like to. Come down into center. Release out through your back. You can keep the hips facing forwards as you come round towards one side. Oh, that feels so good. Bring it back through center here. Take it across to the other side. Come back into center there. Gradually unwind. Unwinding back upwards to standing. We're just going to very gently rock the hips out and reach upwards. Your hands onto your hips. We're just going to enjoy a releasing full body shimmy whilst connected into source energy. Relax through your shoulders. It's hard to speak whilst doing that. Oh. Hands up towards the sky. One hand to heart space. One hand down below your belly button. Feel the connection between the two. Bow your head in gratitude to you for showing up for yourself and to each other for holding space. Returning head into center. Thank you for joining me in this course. If you've enjoyed this course, and you're tuning in on YouTube, feel free to subscribe to the channel, hit notifications so you can be informed of when the next fabulous thing appears. Leave us a comment, let us know how you've enjoyed these classes. We would be absolutely delighted to know how you've enjoyed them in the way that we have as well. If you'd like more, you can dive in on our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/Little Egypt Studio. All of these lovely ladies are waiting to meet you. And yeah, we'd love to hear your story and where you think you might take your yearning dance too. Wow. And if you'd like to join us, of course, on World Bellydance Day for our fabulous celebration, dancing this live. Wow, what an opportunity. It would be a pleasure. I'll see you soon. Love you.